So I recently asked my Discord members if they would like to see a behind the scenes video of me essentially explaining how I make a fan-made OST for Death Battle. And I thought that they would be game, and they were, so here I am today explaining how I make a fan-made OST. So let's just jump into it, and hopefully I'll explain it well enough so that even non-music people will be like, oh, yeah, I get it. Yeah, that's my goal. I want people who don't really know music theory or music history or anything like that to go take away what I say today with something. So, yeah, let's start. So, what would be the first step? For me, at least personally, the first step is always research, because I already know the characters when I'm going in to write. There's not one match I've done where I did not know the characters ahead of time, because I write for the characters. I do not write around the characters. I never just have a track and I'm like, this can go with that. No, I write specifically for the characters I have in mind. And on that note, I mainly just look at the characters' themes themselves. Like, I'll just look up character name theme and see what comes up. Because honestly, that's the biggest point of contention with a lot of people, is they want to hear the character's theme. So I'll just be like, Google it or YouTube it and be like, hey, YouTube, what's this character's theme sound like? And they'll be like, oh, his theme sounds like and I'll be like, thank you, YouTube. So that's essentially how I do it. Essentially, there's a lot more research that goes into specifically other songs in the category of the characters, but mostly it's just looking up their themes. That's the basic gist of it. And sometimes whenever I know a little bit more about a character, because I personally have an attachment to the property that they're from, like for example Joker, I will incorporate different things that I know personally from Persona 5, like Blooming Villain, or like Life Will Change, or just stuff like that. And so we're kind of getting into the writing portion of it now, how I write an OST. And I'll be honest, it's quite a grueling process, because when I research it, I tend to not write anything. I just let the themes kind of sit in my head for a couple days, and I'll be like, okay, day 3 of working on this, now it's time to actually write it down or put it into my digital audio workstation, or DAW for short. That's another musician's term that I hope you can find some use for in your life. It's kind of an educational video too, as well, explaining my process. So back on topic, the question arises, how do I use the themes that I've had in my head for these past 2 days into a cohesive song that people will hum or just get really excited by? Because I am technically writing fight music, even if there isn't a fight in front of it, because I'm not a sprite artist. I can't do everything that I would like to. If I could, I'd be able to 3D animate Joker vs. Giorno, and I'd be able to put Golden Fool behind it, because I'm crazy. But the glue that holds the compositions together is what we as musicians and composers refer to as the rhythm section. Now you may be asking, what exactly is a rhythm section? And that's a fairly good question, because outside of big band leaders and composers, not a whole lot of people know what they are and what they entail. And rhythm sections essentially maintain the rhythm and pulse of a certain piece or song that a band is playing. And in my case, I have full control over it because I'm composing music. So what I do is I compose something that will fit in all of the themes that I want to fit into an OST. And once I have that basis, that glue, that foundation fully complete, then I start messing around with themes and such. Because without the basis, it's essentially garbage. It'd just be piano doing weird stuff that would just be quoting stuff out of nowhere, and you'd be really confused as to where the beat is, even where's one, where's the pulse. And with the rhythm section, I can deliberate where the pulse is without having to use the melody instruments, the melodical instruments, for that. So rhythm section is essentially what I base all of my OSTs around, because it is a foundation, and foundation will only get you so far, technically. So what else can I add to this OST that'll make it sound unique? Well, of course there's themes, but then there's also taking creative liberties, and I tend to do this a lot. I'm not gonna lie, because it's basically just instinct. I think that this melody fits both characters fine, and I really like it, so I'm gonna add it. And you can actually hear this in Nobody's Reflection. You can hear a violin part that I just made up completely. It's completely original. There's no hints of Roxas's theme or Dark Pit's theme in there, but eventually I make up for that by literally playing Roxas's theme and Dark Pit's theme later on in the OST. So now we have the glue and we have the sparkles. We have the sparkling glue. So now what else can we add? Well, there's not a whole lot to add, because essentially we're done at this point. We've built the building that we were planning on doing. We have the foundation, we have the layers of it, and we essentially, all we need to do is end it. We need to build that roof. So how can we end it? Well, there's two ways I tend to end OSTs. I either end it with a certain musical cue saying a character should win, like in Golden Fool I play the win theme of Persona 5, or I just leave it completely ambiguous, like in Nobody's Reflection. I just end it after a little thing. So now we have a complete OST. Great, that's awesome. How do we release it? Well, the first thing we have to do is we have to make a custom thumbnail. And believe me, this is the easiest thing that I do. I love making thumbnails because they are super fast and easy to make. So what I do is I grab a template from online of the Death Battle thumbnail template, whatever you want to call it, and I grab 2 PNGs of the characters, hopefully matching in some regards, because composition in pictures is fairly, important. So try to find 2 matching renders. Then I find a background, I add some effects to the renders, then I'm done. And then I make the fan OST soundtrack covers. And this is a lot more tedious because I actually have to make custom elements for them. But truth be told, they're also at least 10 times easier than actually writing the music itself. So I tend to do these first now. So yeah, they're both pretty easy. And that's how I make a fan-made OST. Then I hit the upload button, and bada bing bada boom, I am done. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a splendid day, and I'll see you back here December 6th when the Death Battle Fan OSTs return. Alright, bye.